Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. I'm Sean Duhamel. Today is Friday, June 10th. Thank you so much for joining with us again this week. Now to start off, I want to remind everybody that this afternoon at 1 o'clock, we will be hosting a Mass Retirees Teletown Hall event. Again, it kicks off at 1 o'clock today. Today's meeting is going to be pretty much a catch-all meeting of just updating you on where things stand, both here in Massachusetts as well as down in Washington, D.C., what we are hoping to accomplish over the next 2 months that remain of the formal legislative process or legislative schedule here in Massachusetts. We have several bills still in the works. And I also want to update everyone of what we continue to try to do at the national level in terms of the Social Security windfall elimination provision and some type of a reform compromise bill, which is still very much at the top of our priority list. So again, today, 1 o'clock. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can participate in our virtual Teletown Hall meetings. One is by simply receiving the automated phone call from me at 1 o'clock today. It will come right to your phone number. All you need to do is answer the phone, stay on the line. You're going to be automatically connected to the meeting. The second way that you can join the meeting is by calling the toll-free number that is published in our newsletter, The Voice, and it's also published on the back of your 2022 Mass Retirees membership card. There are two numbers on the card, or actually there's a bunch of numbers on the card now that I think about it, but you have our hotline that we update every Friday. You have our Teletown Hall dedicated number. And then on the back of the card, you have the personal contact information of myself and Frank Valeri and the other members of our staff here at Mass Retirees. Should something come up after hours and that you need to give us a call, we're a service organization first and foremost. So if you're available this afternoon, 1 o'clock, please take a moment, join with us. We're going to answer your questions. So if you have something retirement or healthcare related that you'd like to ask us about, we're going to spend about at least half of the meeting today focused on answering your questions, and we'll go from there. Now, if you watched last week's video or read last week's email, you know that this coming week, the Mass Association of Contributory Retirement Systems, known as MACRS, is hosting its first annual convention in 3 years. We will have a full contingency of Mass Retirees staff on hand at the conference. We're going to maintain a booth at the conference so we can meet and mingle and interact with all of the retirement board officials from across the state. Tom Bonarigo is participating in the legislative panel, and Frank Valeri will be giving a speech on Tuesday at the meeting. I have submitted a speech via video. Unfortunately, I'm not available next week just due to timing. But this is probably the first MACRS meeting I have missed in the 28 years that I've been here at Mass Retirees, and very disappointed to have to miss it. But unfortunately, you can't be in two places at once. Now, our big focus right now, of course, is what is happening on Beacon Hill in terms of the cost of living adjustment and all of the work that we have been putting into making some improvements with the COLA for the coming fiscal year, which is FY23, as well as building toward improved COLA benefits for state and teacher retirees starting next fall through the reevaluation of the state and teacher pension funding schedules. So all of these things are a work in progress right now. But the main focus is the Budget Conference Committee. I think all members by now are well aware that the House of Representatives passed a 5% COLA in their budget back in April. The Senate opted not to take up that language and instead implemented the 3% COLA, which is the traditional amount for state and teacher retirees and local retirees as well. Those two different versions of the FY23 budget are now in a House and Senate conference committee, a budget conference committee, which I believe most of you are familiar with. So the differences between the two versions are ironed out through the conference process. On the House side, the negotiations are led by State Representative Aaron Michowitz. He is the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. He's from the North End here in Boston. On the Senate side, the Senate chairman of Ways and Means is State Senator Michael Rodrigues from the south coast of Massachusetts. He is from Westport, and Representative Michowitz and Representative Rodrigues are the two lead negotiators, if you will, of of the budget, and we are very hopeful that we will be able to maintain the 5% COLA that the House approved. And we are doing all we can to encourage our friends in the state Senate to agree to that language, and also agree to language that would allow local retirement boards to increase the local COLA from the traditional 3%, to give that board, or the 102 local boards, the authority to go up to the full 5% if they so choose to. Now, unfortunately, we got word earlier this week that the Mass Municipal Association, which is a trade organization and advocacy group similar to Mass Retirees, but the MMA, as they are known, represent all of the city and town governments across Massachusetts. And the MMA sent a letter to the House and Senate leadership and all of the budget conferees, listing a long list, or a laundry list, of different priorities and funding that they wanted to have increased or maintained. Unfortunately, the very last item on their list was a request to strike the language allowing local retirement boards to increase their local COLA. Now, the MMA unfairly and unjustifiably characterized this provision as an unfunded mandate, which we believe is absolutely ridiculous. Nothing could be further from the truth. First of all, what we are calling for is that the retirement systems, whether it be at the state level for state and teacher retirees, or at the local level for municipal retirees, tap into the vast resources that have built up in the retirement systems because of the asset gains, because of the wonderful investment returns that have been accumulated over the last decade or more. That's the retirees' money. That's not the municipal government's money. Despite what the MMA wants the legislature or the general public to believe, that is not the property of municipal governments. And any type of insinuation that this very minor benefit to allow local retirement boards to share that success with their retirees for 1 year and 1 year only, because don't forget, what we're looking at is increasing the COLA to 5% only for FY23. And this is a direct response, by the way, to the horrific conditions that we're all experiencing, and particularly our members are experiencing when it comes to the level of inflation right now. Something has to give, and retirees deserve some relief, and we have the means to provide that relief because of the success of our retirement systems. So this belief that somehow this is going to bankrupt cities and towns and throw our retirement funding schedules into some kind of jeopardy because the board has the ability to increase the COLA by 2 percentage points for 1 year is absolutely ridiculous. And we believe it's a shameful argument. And we're very, very disappointed that the MMA has again decided to go this route and attack even the slightest benefit increases at the municipal level. We've seen this act before. We've seen the disingenuous tactics that can be used to characterize these benefits as a budget buster. That is not the case. We are going to be doing everything that we can to reinforce our argument, to lay out the facts to the legislature. And one of the pertinent facts here is that local governments control most local retirement boards. Every retirement board has 5 members. Only 2 of the 5 members are elected by the membership of the system. Another 2 are municipal officials, and the 5th board member is appointed by the other 4, and that process is often controlled by the local city or town government. So in most cases across Massachusetts, the retirement systems are controlled or governed by the municipal government. So if a local mayor or city council or whomever, town manager, doesn't want or doesn't believe that that local community has the ability to pay a better COLA benefit, then they have the ability to vote no at the local level. And we just don't understand the basis of the argument that that's a bad idea. But at the end of the day, again, it's your money. You deserve a little bit of extra help. And this is just an example of what we're up against, why it's necessary that we're forming the new Mass Retirees Foundation for Public Policy and Research, or Education. is to help blunt the arguments that we sometimes see from the other side, who are constantly trying to tear down what we're looking to do to help our members out. So I know I went on a little bit of a tirade here. As you can tell, this stuff gets under my skin. We are just trying to do our job to help you, and we believe that we approach this in a reasonable way, in an affordable way. And when someone says otherwise, yeah, it becomes a little bit annoying, if you will. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your support of everything we do. If you have the ability, if you're watching this on Friday and you can join us at 1 this afternoon, stop by and say hello on the town hall. If you have a question, hit us up. But stay safe, be well, and we'll be back to you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.